Click the description of this video, check out the link to my website. You're gonna have all the links to my social media, and you're gonna see some cool stuff that I'm working on, like an NFT project. So as you guys have noticed, I haven't been on YouTube. It's been for sure a few months, and there's a reason why, and that reason is because of my 9-to-5 job. It's just been crazy. I haven't had any time to do anything. I wake up, I go to work, I get out of work, I'm home, I'm too tired to do anything. So that's the reason why. But I decided to change that. I quit my job, my traditional 9-to-5, and I've been freelancing. And so I want to talk about a few reasons why, specifically 5, maybe 6 reasons why I decided to quit my architecture 9-to-5 and I decided to go into the freelancing route. Now, this is a topic that there's so much information available based off of my own experience. And so I want to share that with you guys. So check out my other videos where I cover what pretty much anything that has to do with architecture and working in the industry. But like I said, today I want to talk about exactly what led me to quit my 9-to-5. Was it a toxic work environment? Was it my coworkers? No, it wasn't any of that. I actually loved my most recent job. I thought the studio was amazing. There was a lot of cool people, a lot of creative people, a lot of friends that I made. So it had nothing to do with the firm, had nothing to do with the management. It just had to do with everything that's related to having a 9-to-5. And so the first one on my list, let's go chronological here, at least for the first few, is waking up early. I cannot stand waking up early every single day. You know, if you want to 1 or 2 days out of the week, that's perfectly cool. But like every single day you have to wake up, and I didn't even live that far from my job, but still I had to wake up by 6:30 to get ready. And I would wake up like at 6:45. I would start to get ready because I'm very slow in the morning. So it would just take me all the way up to 8 o'clock, and then I would drive 30 minutes to get to work. But that idea of like Monday through Friday of getting up super early to have to go to work was just killing me, and I wasn't even enjoying my weekends anymore. Literally the only day that I would enjoy would be Saturday, because I would sleep in till like as much as possible, and then on Sunday, literally from the moment I woke up, I was already feeling anxiety, like, oh my God, in a few hours I'm gonna have to go to work. This is gonna be crazy. So it was just getting to me. I've been working ever since I was like 16, so this is something I've been doing forever without much of a break, and it finally got to me. And so like a year or two ago, I told myself like one day I gotta get out of this, right? And so I just made it happen. So reason number 1 is waking up early. It just sucks. I hate it. And I'm not a morning person, unfortunately. Now, reason number 2 comes up after waking up, which is driving there. Some of you guys live in cities where you can take a bus or a subway or something. I live in South Florida. That doesn't really exist. You know, there's no subways here. There's no trains, like at least nothing that's useful enough to get me to work. I could take the bus, but really it's going to take like 2 hours for me to get there. Just public transportation is not efficient here in South Florida, unfortunately. But anyway, just the idea of sitting in your car and this bumper to bumper traffic in the morning, it was getting to me too. Like I couldn't take it anymore. It made the experience of work so much worse than it had to be. You know what I'm saying? Because like one thing is to wake up, you're already tired, and then you have to get in your car, and then people are honking. Nobody's in a good mood because everybody's going to work. Everybody's pissed off, you know? So it's like, it's just, I couldn't take it anymore. The commuting was horrible. Not to mention the math of the cost of commuting. Think about it. You have a car, so every day you're driving, that means you have to pay gas once or twice a week. Then if you're taking highways like I had to, or like I did, I didn't have to, but like I did, then you have toll expenses, then you have maintenance, you have repairs, everything that's associated. So if you do the math, and I actually want to cover that, check out my video where I cover the cost of work, then you're gonna see that it just adds up. So not only is commuting uncomfortable, the idea of driving every single day twice, because you're going to and then you're coming home after, so you're doing that process twice. Not only is it a waste of time, but it's also a waste of money. And so I was really getting tired of that also. Now the third reason is the actual 40-hour work week itself. So when you study architecture, when you join the industry, chances are, if you're not already creative, it's gonna start to spark up some creativity in you, right? It just happens because of school. It just makes you more of a creative person. Or I don't know if it makes you more creative, but it definitely opens up those gateways of creativity that are already within you that you may not know are there. But anyway, as a creative person, I don't like the idea of being forced to a specific schedule. I understand that there's deadlines that are involved. I understand that there's tasks, but I don't really like the fact that there is a specific set amount of hours that have to be done every single week. And that was driving me crazy. I hated the fact that if I wanted to do something simple, like one day I just didn't feel like working, for some reason. It's normal. We're humans. Like one day you wake up and you're like, I don't feel like going to work. What are you going to do? Are you seriously going to call out? You're not going to call out sick because those that time is like limited. Also, you feel kind of bad for your team. You don't want to let them down. So there's just like, you just go and then you're in a bad mood. But whatever the point is, right? It's just the idea of having to do the same thing every single day at the same exact time. It gets old, and it gets old quick. And architecture is a career that I don't think that necessarily has to happen that way. Sure, there's certain roles in architecture that need that specific structure, but not all roles in architecture need that, and I think that architecture is such a creative field that I think it thrives so much more from having a more flexible lifestyle. So I mentioned tasks, and I agree with tasks. You have deadlines. You have to do a certain task by a certain date, right? A task-oriented environment. I mean, after all, that's exactly how school is. In school, you do have to attend your classes, right? But your studio is much more laid back. You don't have to be sitting at your desk 100% of the time when you're in studio. As a matter of fact, they encourage you to go check out other people who are working, talk to them. It's like, it's so much more laid back. And so I don't agree with the whole having to be here from this time to this time. I agree more with this needs to be done and you need to do it by this time. And then of course, that's why you have other roles like the project manager that makes sure that the job captain and the drafters and all these other roles are doing what they got to do. But believe me, if you're working task-based rather than hourly based, the team is going to be in a way better mood and producing way better quality work than if they have to do something just because they have to do it. I mean, think about it. There are weeks when you don't have to be there 40 hours. And of course, there's weeks when you do have to be there longer. But believe me, the weeks where you have to stay at work longer are going to be so much more bearable. When 2 or 3 weeks ago, you left, you only worked 10 hours because you needed to. But if you are hiring someone to do work, they should be doing things based on task, and you should be paying them what you're gonna pay them. And if it takes them 3 hours to do something, that hey, even better for you. Not to mention there's times when I'd rather work on a Saturday or Sunday. I like that flexibility of just being able to work when you want, as long as you get your tasks done. And so I was so tired of that. I just saw it for me. So for me, I'm not saying like for everybody, but I'm just saying for me, I felt that the 40-hour work week was just so inefficient, and I couldn't take it. And I hated the fact that like if I wanted to hang out with a friend one day, I had to ask for permission to do so. It was just, it's not something that I see necessary. Next is the salary itself. Something that I think I just hate so much is salary, because when I first started working, I was on an hourly basis, and hourly is cool. If you stayed late, you get paid time and a half. So if you're making, let's say $20 an hour, and you have to stay an extra 10 hours, each of those hours you're gonna get paid your $20 an hour plus half of that, so $10. So you're making $30 an hour. So there's some sort of compensation. You don't mind having to stay late. I'm not saying that it happens often, but whatever, that's another thought. The point is that I like that. I like the idea that you're getting compensated for the amount of work that you're doing, or the tasks that you're completing, the value that you're adding, right? But then someone came and invented this whole salary thing. The way that it sounds amazing. Like you get this amount of money per year, and it doesn't matter really how many hours you work. But that's not true, because you still have to show up on time, and you still have to leave at the time that you're expected to leave. So like, let's say 9 to 5. But what's the point of salary then? Because salary, and I'm not saying the firm that I was just at, they did not take advantage of that. Like, it was not a bad experience at all. I barely ever stayed late, actually. But I've worked at places where they use the salary as a tool to help themselves, and that's so uncomfortable, because what ends up happening is that they're asking you to stay later and later and later, and then you don't really get compensated. I mean, sometimes you get an end of the year bonus, but I guess it's nice at the time, but if you're someone like me that likes investing, for example, I would rather that money up front. And so that's why I preferred hourly. But what typically happens is that as you advance in your career, they switch you from hourly to salary. And so in my opinion, it just goes downhill from there. Like, yeah, you have to wait a year for raises and stuff, but I'm someone that likes to be compensated for the work that I do. I like the idea that if I want to make more money, I can make more money because I want to. I don't have to wait a whole year for a raise or something like that, you know? So salaries, I hate them. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to finally leave the whole 9-to-5 architecture environment. My fifth reason, if you've noticed, all my other complaints haven't been about the career itself. It's been more about like the work environment, but this one is definitely about the career itself. And that's the firm that you're working at and the projects that they choose. So when you're working at a 9-to-5, you're working at a firm, you don't get a say as to what projects you're going to be working on because it really depends on the firm that you're working at. So if you're working at a firm that only does residential, that's the only type of project that you're going to do. Not even that. Let's go down a little bit deeper into the niche. Let's say that this firm only does airports, for example, right? If you get bored of airports one day, you get no say. It's not really like you can pick what you want to do, and that kind of sucks sometimes because architecture, certain projects, depending on your personality, might get boring after a while. And so knowing that you're just stuck in that cycle, it kind of sucks a little bit because you don't really have the flexibility to pick what you want to do because you have to do, you know, what the firm needs to be done. And like I said, I understand that the firm needs to be profitable, but at the same time, that's the reason why I couldn't take it anymore, just because I was doing the same type of project, and I realized that like if I go from firm to firm to firm, I'm always going to be put on projects rather than me pick the project, you know. And so that's one of the disadvantages of working at a 9-to-5. And last but not least here, we have one of the things that, I'll say it again, did not happen at the last firm that I was at, but it has happened to me before, and it's my least favorite thing of working at a 9-to-5, and that's micromanaging. There's nothing worse at an office than someone standing behind your shoulder watching you work, and they're telling you, we need this quick, we need this yesterday. And I'm like, then why don't you sit down and help me? Why are you just watching me do this work? It just makes no sense. You know, I hate that so much. It's like, dude, give me a task, I'll get it done, and that's it. That's the way it should be. But you tend to have managers sometimes that don't really trust their employees, and that really sucks. And so that's one of the reasons why. And there's always some sort of micromanaging that exists in offices. And so I just couldn't take that anymore, and I'll share some of these stories with you in my future videos, so check those out. Of course, I'll link those in the description, so always check the descriptions of my videos so you can see things like that that relate to this video. But anyways, those are the 6 reasons why I quit. I left the 9-to-5 world, don't want to do it ever again. I hope to God that I never have to work another 9-to-5 again. And so you're probably wondering, what are you doing now then? Well, I'm freelancing now. So I've basically made my own business where I freelance, and I'm gonna get into that like way deeper in these following videos. So check those out. But basically, freelancing is like the magic pill that cures all those problems that I mentioned in this video. Now, it's not perfect. There's a lot of negative sides to freelancing too, and to having your own business in architecture, and I'm going to cover that. But for sure, for me right now in my life, it suits my needs, and I think it's an amazing experience. It's like I don't have to deal with these things exactly. You know, there's some there's some give and take here and there. But definitely it's like night and day. So yeah, I'll give you guys the full story as to how it happened, how I quit my job, and like how I got my freelancing gig and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. If you guys are studying architecture now, you guys are in school and you guys are deciding if architecture is the right career for you or not. I just have so much information on this, and I want to put it out there. That's always been the idea behind this channel, to put that information out there so that you guys who are interested in the career, or maybe you guys who are are right now thinking you're at a terrible job and you're like, I hate my job. How can I, is this normal? Is this normal? Is there a way that I can get out of here? Because I used to feel like that, and it sucks when you feel like that. You feel alone and you feel like, man, I picked the wrong career. But in my opinion, architecture is not the wrong career. Architecture is right. It's just that architects tend to not be the best business owners sometimes, and so they make their employees suffer. And yeah, so that's my goal with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought. And I'm so happy to be back. Can't wait to share that NFT project with you guys that I'm working on. So add me on Instagram and add me on Discord, and we'll chat it up. All right, talk to you guys soon.